Hello, everyone. Welcome to Life with Care. Today, I am going to be taking you on a flight on American Airlines. I'll be talking about the check-in process, some of the in-air amenities, and we'll be flying through some clouds together and just a general overview of flying with American Airlines. So with American Airlines, you can check in for your flight starting 24 hours before your flight is set to depart, and you can check in online on the app. You could go to the airport and check in person, but you need to make sure for domestic flights, as of the recording of this, that you are checked in at least 45 minutes before your flight time. So 24 hours, starting 24 hours, you can start checking in. So I did that, and I did it on the app. I went in and checked in, and I received this message when I checked in.
My flight was in high demand, and so they were offering a flight credit for anybody who may have flexibility and willing to go on another flight. You could put in a bid on what you may like to receive to switch your flight. You still had to arrive at the airport and be at your gate at least 1 hour before departure.
It was flying day, and I wanted to make sure that I arrived at the airport at least 2 hours before my departure because I did have a bag that I needed to check. Now, if you don't have a bag to check, then you don't have to do any of these things. You can get to the airport. If you plan on using your phone as your boarding pass, you have no bag to check, your boarding pass is on your phone, you can just head straight through security. For me, though, because I was going to be checking a bag, I headed over to the kiosk to do that.
When I arrived at the airport, American Airlines has it clearly marked about the steps you need to take. Step one, since I was going to check a bag, was that I needed to tag my bag. I headed over to the self-serve kiosk so I could print my bag tag, and I also printed my boarding pass, even though I had it on my phone. I just always like to do that. So I was able to do that, and when I went to check in there and print those items, it had, again, an offer to make a bid to go onto a different flight. But since I did not have flexibility, I wasn't going to make a bid, and I was ready to head over to drop my bag. So I showed my ID, and then I dropped my bag. You can also bring a carry-on and a personal item on board with you. If you are concerned that they may be too big, they have these available at the ticket counter where you can measure your items just to make sure that they will be okay for you to take on board as your two items.
Once I was at the kiosk and I printed up my bag tag, tagged it. I also printed my boarding pass just in case. I usually like to do that. And went ahead and handed my bag off at the counter. Then it was time to go through TSA, security screening.
I got through TSA quickly, and then it was time to head to the gate.
Next, I'm going to talk briefly about boarding groups, and then we are going to go get on the plane. So if you're wondering what boarding group you're in, check your boarding pass. It will have it on there. So on my pass, I could see that I was in boarding group 5. American Airlines has boarding groups 1 through 9 and also pre-boarders. For example, first class customers will be boarding pre-boarding. And when you get to the gate, you will see signs that show boarding group 1 through 4 and then 5 through 9. So those will be at the gate, and they will announce which group is boarding. One airport put it up on a screen so you could clearly see which group was boarding. Another airport, they just announced it, group 2. I think it's better if they put it up on a screen because people who are just walking up to that gate will know which boarding group they're in. There are many ways to get into early boarding groups. It depends on what status you have with American Airlines, what credit card you may have with American Airlines. We could do a whole entire video on it. If you are curious to know, please visit their website, aa.com, for all of the information about how they determine boarding groups. And now, let's go get on the plane.
The boarding process went very smoothly getting on the plane. I was in seat 14F, and seats with F are window seats, so that was really great. It wasn't long before we were all boarded and taxiing out, and it was time for takeoff. I love a great takeoff, and up in the air we went, which means that we were on our way. The flight would be just a little less than 2 hours. I'm going to talk a bit about the onboard amenities. In front of my seat, there was a waist bag. There was also some information about the aircraft and safety. And then I'll talk more about this later, but there was an in-flight entertainment brochure. And lastly, there was an advertisement for the Citi American Airlines credit card. So those are right in front of my seat. Some flights, including the one that I was on, have free Wi-Fi for A Advantage members. This is a great benefit. It's free to join the A Advantage member program. You can do that on the American Airlines site. So it was courtesy of AT&T that free Wi-Fi was offered for all A Advantage members on this particular flight that I was on. Here is some of the free in-flight entertainment. They had a selection of great movies. If you're traveling with children, they also had kids' movies as well. And they had live TV. And this was all available for free. I was really happy with what they offered as far as the in-flight entertainment goes. I'll talk about food and beverage in just a bit, but I just have to show you this beautiful scenery out the window of flying through these fluffy clouds. Here are some of the food and beverage options. Depending on how long your flight is, there'll be different things offered. They did offer complimentary beverages on my flight that you can see here, and I did enjoy a beverage and a snack while I was in flight. I got a soda and some pretzels, and it was a really nice snack. I looked out my window and I saw land, so I knew that we would soon be touching down. And as much as I enjoy the takeoff, I also enjoy the landing. It was a very smooth flight, just a little under 2 hours. And next, it would be time to head over to baggage claim. Off the plane and then off to baggage claim. I want to offer a tip here. You can see with my bag, I have red ribbon on it, and this is to help distinguish it from other travelers' bags. I've had people pick up my bag thinking it's theirs, and this really helps because as soon as they see that red ribbon, they put it back down. So I advise if you have a common color of bag that you're traveling with, to mark it, put something on it to help distinguish it. It can be really, really helpful.
If you are enjoying the video or finding it to be helpful, if you could please like and consider subscribing, it would be much appreciated. I want to say that I really enjoyed my flight on American Airlines. The staff was great. Everything went smoothly. I was so thankful for that. I previously did a video on Southwest Airlines, and it received a lot of positive response. People had a lot of questions, so I want to encourage you that if you have questions, comments, things that may be helpful, please leave a comment below. I do try to read and respond to every comment. If you don't feel comfortable with leaving a question or a comment below, you can also email me. If you go to my channel, my email address is there. So please email me and I will definitely try to respond to you. I am wishing you all many happy miles and much safe travel. Thank you for watching.